Whoa, something insane is happening with the US dollar. It's currently crashing a bit against South African Rand. And I was talking to a friend earlier today. She said, what should I invest in when it's tax season? I said, you should invest in AVGO, which is a semiconductor and tech stock, and gold, because gold has outperformed the stock market, the entirety of it, for the past 25 years. And so you should hold some gold. But then I realized, oh my goodness, most people don't even know that they can hold gold in some of their regular bank accounts, like SoFi that we talk about on this channel. Even on Cash App, you can hold gold. But you're probably like, okay, what gold do I invest in? How do I hold it? What exactly do I do with it? And how is the US dollar crashing a bit against the South African Rand? Like, the South African Rand is increasing against US dollar the way that the Ghanaian CD is or was earlier this year. So what does this mean for you as an expat? What does this mean for you if you live in these countries? Well, your cost of living might go up a bit. Your dollar won't stretch as far. And what does that mean for America's economy if African countries are starting to perform a little bit better against USD? The collapse is happening in real time. Let's talk about it. Listen, you are not looking at a good performance. This is an indicator of financial distress in the US monetary system, not only the US monetary system, but the entire Western monetary system. Let's decode exactly what this means. Because I looked earlier today, and the SPDR Gold Trust sits at 57% increase for the past year. Yes, this is outperforming many retail stocks, similar with other tech and AI stocks that we've covered in the State of the Diaspora we did a couple of months ago that was talking about the top AI stocks to invest in, like CoreWeave, an amazing one. Also some of the semiconductors like AVGO. But when I saw this next stock, which is VanEck Gold Miners ETF, my gosh, this gold future had a 113% increase just in the last year alone. And so if you're like, hey, can we break down this gold in a 90-minute intensive? Is there a way that you can help us understand which gold to invest in for educational purposes? Because I am not a financial advisor, but this is for educational purposes so that you can understand how to hedge your money. Because if you're keeping dollars and just dollars and your USD is sitting there in the bank, even if it's in savings, it's basically rotting away because the value of the US dollar is going in the dumpster, unfortunately. There are many Middle Eastern countries that actually have currencies that are stronger than the dollar as well. And so this is the time to get into the gold market, okay? I also want to make one thing abundantly clear. Do not listen to any of the foolish people who tell you America's economy is not collapsing. By default, this type of spread and increase in gold is above $4,000 per ounce. I'm telling you, I've been watching gold for about 3 to 4 years now, and the way that it has just been steadily increasing like crazy, this only happens during systematic stress cycles. It's not normal growth, it's not innovation, and it's definitely not economic productivity. This is what currency fight or flight looks like. Capital panic and supply control. This is literally the warning signal in the American financial system. And I'm gonna cover it with my husband in the next State of the Diaspora in January, where we're going to focus on the top 4 types of gold that can make you wealthy in 2026 if you have the right information. See, the tricky thing about finance is that you need to actually be reading, studying, watching publications like moomoo.com, watching your stocks in SoFi, your ETFs, understanding geopolitics, economics. These aren't things that we have to wait for some elite white guy on Wall Street to teach us. By the time we wait for some elite white guy to teach us, we'll already be broke. This US dollar collapse is happening right now in real time. And when physical gold rises moderately, but gold producers explode, it means currency systems are weakening faster than ever before, and the public will not admit it. President Donald Trump will not admit that he probably holds most of his currency in gold. Elon Musk won't admit it. Don't wait for them to admit it to you. Do your due diligence and research and allocate your funds wisely based on the research that you are going to perform. Oh, and then did I mention my two favorite gold I'm looking at right now? One is an ETF, one is a company, so it's a stock. The VanEck gold miners is up 113% in the past year. It's an ETF. And then the Kinross Gold company is up 175% in the past year. Now you may be like, so how exactly does that happen? Well, my friend, gold is doing its job. It's not only preserving value, but miners are doing something else. It's front running the monetary reset. When the US dollar and the UK pound and the whoever else's European currency look a little shaky, a little finicky, people have a lot of fear in the market, they don't understand what's going on, people go to what they know is not going to rot. They go to gold, they go to silver, but gold has been outpacing silver at a rate that we just did not even see coming. And it's not gonna slow down because guess what? There's still threats of World War III. There's still threats of full economic collapse. There's still the AI bubble. And so gold is really that asset that you have to be watching in 2026. Like if you're not watching it, you're basically taking your money and throwing it into the trash. Like literally taking bags of money and throwing it into the trash because the US dollar is going to continue to perform lower. Now, that doesn't mean it's gonna disappear. What that's gonna feel like for you in the US, you get less house for your money, less mortgage, less food, less clothing, less gold for your money, to be quite honest with you. This is why you want to get it while it's hot. Get it while you're at a little bit of a decline in the market so that you can go ahead and increase. Get it now because it's not going to slow down. And that gap between the 57% increase and 175% increase is not enthusiasm. It is fear disguised as profit. People are afraid right now. And here's what this means for the US dollar. Listen, when the dollar weakens, commodities strengthen. Export nations gain pricing power. Yes, African, resource rich. Export nations gain pricing power to the rest of the world because they gotta come to Africa to get the gold. There's a resource in Tanzania that's not found anywhere else called Tanzanite. They gotta go to Tanzania to get the Tanzanite. They gotta go to Botswana to get the diamonds, okay? And fiat holders are going to experience silent wealth erosion. But you know it as inflation, a high cost of living. The economy is weird right now. Business is strange right now. But the charts call it systematic confidence loss. And this is why Africa shows up in this first. Africa sits with gold, platinum, rare earth materials, strategic metals. When currencies collide, these zones are going to stabilize first. Yes, Africa will be the first and not the last this time. The head and not the tail, as it says in Deuteronomy 28. And this capital doesn't run to cities. It runs to supply chains. This is how wealth moves before headlines are even going to admit collapse. Because I'm going to tell you right now, there's a reason China has been silently dumping U.S. government bonds in exchange for tons and tons of gold. Look it up. Look it up. Again, I need you to get this. Hit the like button, share this with 20 people because gold is not surging. Because the world economy is doing so well, because nothing wrong is happening in America. When miners outrun gold, the monetary floor is cracking. And this is what the early phases of the collapse of America looks like again. Visit the link in the description to join the next Gold State of the Diaspora, where we're going to break down the top 4 stocks and ETFs in gold that you can purchase literally in the next few months. Do your own education. We're not going to teach you how to allocate it, how much to allocate it, but we are going to show you step-by-step breakdown behind these companies, why some are performing better than others, and how you can access them across different brokerages because it doesn't have to be difficult. but the people perish without the lack of knowledge. Also, check out the link in the description if you want to learn how to trade and read the chart, which is its own language, with my husband. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next video. This is wild. Tell me what you think of this down below. It's kind of crazy. It's all happening so fast, right? This collapse has accelerated, and you need to be on the right side of it.